Yeah, my name is Sandra Morgan, and I'm the chairperson of the Ration Shed Museum, and also one of the founders. Yeah, and I'm originally from Cherbourg, born and bred here. Yeah, and this is my home. Yeah.
So your family been here is like what?
My parents were born here, but my grandparents were part of the stolen generation too, and brought here. Yeah, in the early years. Yeah.
Well,
So it was only through research, about my grandparents, because we weren't told anything by them.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I gather too, the Russian Shed, the museum itself is. You've done a lot of work. There has been a lot of research done on all the families that are here. Is that right?
Well, as far as like pictures and like documentaries, we've done a lot of that, and what's growing pretty fast. We were just planning on a keeping place, yeah, and just a meeting place, and it just grown from there. So we're very proud of the fact that there are old buildings that can tell a lot of stories too.
A lot
Might
of
be,
work has been done.
yeah, and I'd like more community involvement. Yeah, trying to involve the younger ones to be part of it, to carry on. Yeah. Yeah, so the Ration Shed building now, it was originally across the road where the police station is, and then placed down the back there near the creek for years. And for our centenary celebration in 2004, that's when I approached council with my sister to have a keeping place. And so the Ration Shed, it tells a lot of stories about we used to line up every Monday to receive the rations.
Everybody, every person on the shed.
Yeah.
So it really
Monday was a
like
ration day, yeah.
rationing of food.
Yeah, dry food like tea, sugar, rice,
Every
sago,
day?
salt. No, every Monday.
Oh, every Monday, sorry.
Yeah.
And that was for the whole week.
Yeah,
for the whole
that
week.
food had to last for a week. But I don't ever remember going hungry, because I think with families they shared a lot back in those times too. Yeah, if they had anything that was caught, like the fish or kangaroo that was hunted, well, they shared a lot, because I remember.
So there were rations of what was rationed actually? Were bread and
No, it was like tea, sugar, rice, sago, like salt and
yes,
soap, those kind of things, dry stuff, yeah.
Wow.
And there were meat rations, that was twice a week, yeah.
From cattle around here.
Yeah, it was killed up the slaughter yard and brought here. My grandmother, Nancy Chambers, she used to do the washing for the sheets, because they used to wrap them up in calico sheets, and she used to wash those sheets. And I think that was a time when we got some little special cuts smuggled in the sheets. Yeah. The storekeeper, who was in charge of like counting and ticking off what families were receiving. So he was responsible for making sure that too many didn't get too much. And most of our local boys, they were the ones that were like issuing it out. But he was there to make sure that you didn't get like
Was it white fella?
yeah, he was
Yeah.
white storekeeper. So most of the, but I remember with the meat rations, if you worked in the store, you had to be part of that staff that worked in the butcher shop or the ration shed.
Right, okay.
So I had a lot to do with the ration shed years ago as a young girl too, so, and it's, we've seen all the little special cuts for all the white fellas, yeah, with the little,
I'd heard that. I'd
Yeah.
heard that the best cuts of meat were always reserved for white fellas.
yeah, they
and
were there.
all the other stuff, waste, what do you call it? Offal and
Yeah, bones,
bones.
you called,
that was
yeah.
for the black fellas.
Even before the meat was brought down to the community, we used to go up around the slaughter yard. That's where the beasts were killed, and there were holes dug, so they had to bury like most of the inside of the
Oh, yes.
cattle,
yes.
yeah, the tripe and
Right.
running guts and whatever.
They buried it.
Yeah, they used to bury it, but
Yeah.
before, like if there wasn't a hygiene officer that was around,
Yes.
if he wasn't around, we used to just go and,
Get it.
yeah, grab it.
Yes, good.
But you got into trouble if you were caught. Yeah,
So they didn't share that out.
no.
Ration.
Whoever was at the slaughter yard
Yes.
and killed, they had to bury all that.
Yes.
It was all buried.
How long did that go on for? To actual rationing of food like that?
Oh, right, late 60s, early 70s, yeah.
Early 70s.
Yeah, because 1986, that's when the department kind of moved out.
Yes.
Yeah, for that deed of grant and trust, you know, yeah. Yeah, and we had our own elected councillors then. Like before, there were appointed councillors
Yes.
that was appointed by the department.
Yes.
Yeah, but they were still controlled.
Yes.
It wasn't their decisions. They were just,
It's still controlled by
yeah,
government.
yeah. You know, with the rations now,
Mm.
living under the Act, and we were living under the Act, and everything was controlled, and I guess,
Absolutely controlled.
and the rations that we thought was free, it wasn't really free because most of the wages that came to the office, it bought all that,
Yes, yes.
the ration, so everything wasn't free. And the general store,
Yes.
well, you had to have money to buy too, so
Yes.
I think just being in control of everything.
So adults say, for example, were they getting wages or pay?
Some were, but
Most
not what
were.
they deserve, you know.
And did people actually still go out and get, bush tucker? Or
Oh yeah,
to
but
supplement
they had to have permission though to do, yeah. Yeah, they had to still have permission to go hunting or fishing and be home at a certain time, but some of them got into trouble because,
they just go.
yeah, just thinking of those old people, how they didn't complain, because I didn't hear any complaints about the food and being controlled, even as adults, you know. So I never heard my grandparents whinge, not once. They were just more protective over us and, like, I guess, want to keep family together because
Yes.
they didn't know where their families were, the rest of their families. I know my grandmother used to always ask sideshow people, you know,
Yes.
but I didn't know of her pain that she was carrying then. Yeah, those old people still worked hard and still entertained and still like a sport,
Look on the bright
entertainment.
side.
Yeah,
All that in even while being treated like that,
yeah,
It's marvelled,
yeah.
marvelled.
I still shake my head too
Yeah.
because
It's wonderful though that you about the whole, you
Yeah.
bringing that to everybody's
Yeah, I'm
notice
very
now,
proud, yeah.
including young people.
and I think because I've organised Golden Oldies, which you may have heard of,
Yes, I have,
for
yes.
years, so
Yes, that's right.
be 25 years this year since I started, and I used to always display a lot of old photos, and that's when I'd see all the old people reminiscing.
Yes,
They'd laugh and they'd cry, and I was thinking, oh, we need a special place so we can just look at photos, but I didn't think,
it'd be
like, yeah,
it developed to
Yeah.
this extent.
but yeah, I'm very proud of the fact that we've got it all, preserved here, and through our photos, films, website,
Website too. Jeez.
all the modern technology coming in there too, and
So it hasn't been going long.
the
The Ration Shed.
we're
The
10
museum.
years this year.
10 years.
Yeah, next month, October.
Isn't that well? That's not very long in terms of of a museum, I guess. But that's fantastic.
Yeah, after all the knocks that we had, you know, and
Yeah,
just
hold-ups.
made me more determined to
Yes,
keep going, and
yes,
a bit hard with funding, but
yes.
I think if your heart's in something and you just keep going,
You keep going. That's true.
and I think just learning that from my parents and grandparents, that
Yes.
you know, they were community minded and they got involved in the community, and they're great teachers to me. And I'm only a volunteer. Yeah, and I've been a volunteer from day one.
Yeah, a volunteer.
Yeah.
And
But I love it.
you love it.
Yeah.
And are young people involved?
If you ask them to, but you know, you'd like them to think too and come and want to be part of it. Yeah. Yeah. If we have special events, they come around, they're supportive there, but we want them sort of showing interest all the time. And a lot more, yeah.
How did the Ration Shed start? And more to that is, how did Cherbourg start?
Yeah, I think it was just government taking people from country, you know, in a lot of areas. Far north, there's Torres Strait that we have on our records, and northern New South Wales. Yeah, so because there was no border back in those times then, you know, the New South Wales border. Yeah, and we have a lot of people now, like looking for family that had family here years ago. Yeah, so surprisingly, I think all over Queensland, really, you know, a whole lot of places. Yeah, that was in 1901.
1901.
Yeah, that when, and then in 1904, that's when the government, and it was a government settlement then. Yeah, yeah.
So
that's
before
when
that, was it a mission?
well, there was Salvation Army. Yeah, captain that came from Nanango, which is a town just up the road from us, and he gave a bit of land to the Waka Waka people. Yeah, and he sort of camped around with a lot of our people, you know, and I guess it was in 1904 then when the government stepped in and made the government settlement. Yeah.
Was it one of the first?
Well, we're
I know there's others, about 40, is it? Or a dozen or so other?
Well, we're 110 years old this year. Yeah. I thought Palm Island was older, but I think Yarrabah might be, I think, the oldest. But a lot of those up north were church missions. Yeah. So I think with the government ones, we might be one of the oldest ones. Yeah. I'm not too sure about Yarrabah, but I think they celebrated 100 years before we did.